I always consider Parshat Vaeira to be one of the most action-packed parshot of the Torah, because the Torah describes many of the 10 plagues. Moshe coming to Pharaoh, warning him, if you do not let my people go, there's going to be a plague of blood, frogs, lice, wild beasts, locusts, darkness. And every single time there's this terrible plague that decimates the country. And Pharaoh relents and he says, yes, I'll let the people go. And as soon as the plague is gone, he goes back again. He becomes stubborn. He becomes obstinate. And he says, no, I'm not going to let the people go. And yet another plague comes and another plague. And of course, you could imagine this scene portrayed and depicted in a film. And in fact, it wasn't a film. That famous epic of Cecil B. DeMille, The 10 Commandments, with Charlton Heston as Moses. And unfortunately, this is often the vision, the picture that I have in my head when I think of Moshe Rabbeinu, our teacher Moses, as Charlton Heston, coming down Mount Sinai with his fake Hollywood beard, holding onto the 2 stone tablets. And there's yet another film about the Exodus, which is about to come out. Exodus, Gods and Kings, starring Christian Bale, the actor from Batman. And of course, this is going to be a special effects extravaganza. And I'm sure it's going to do very well at the box office. But there's a problem with this. When Hollywood portrays scenes of the Bible, you have to take it with a pinch of salt. Because their purpose is to sell tickets. Their purpose is to make the show as action-packed as possible. They have no reliability. They have no credibility. They don't have to follow the story as it's described in the Torah. They have no opportunity to do such a thing. Their thing is to make as much money as possible. Take, for example, the recent offering, the film about Noah. I haven't seen the film myself, but congregants who have seen it have told me that in the entire film there's no mention of the name of God. How can you make a film about Noah and not mention God? But again, the point is not to be accurate to the text, but to sell as many tickets as possible. Many years ago, there was an actor, a Hollywood actor, who became observant, Shomrei Torah mitzvot. He was an observant Jew. And because of his acting, sometimes he was required to remove makeup from his face just as Shabbat came in. He would film on Friday, he wouldn't film on Shabbat, but then it would be Shabbat and he would need to remove this makeup from his face, and it required him to use a certain cream whose use may be prohibited on Shabbat. And so his rabbi sent off a question to the famous Rav Moshe Feinstein of blessed memory, that great halachic authority in America who passed away in 1986, to ask him the question. Within a few sentences, Rav Moshe Feinstein said that there was no problem whatsoever with removing the makeup. But then Rav Moshe Feinstein felt that he needed to add something. And he said, I just have to write this. He said, I find it so strange that a person who is committed to Torah and mitzvot should be involved in that type of a lifestyle. Because they make plays and they make films. And in these films, they make light of things that we, the Jewish people, take very seriously. Murder, sexual promiscuity, everything goes in these type of films. Is it something that perhaps he wants to invest his life in? And even if he says, well, I'm going to get involved in Hollywood because perhaps this will be a good example to the young people. They'll see that even a religious person can act in Hollywood. Even Rav Moshe Feinstein was not 100% convinced about that. On the contrary, this may be a bad example. Therefore, we have to be very, very careful when we sit down to watch a film, and especially if it's a film about something that we know about, something that we're passionate about, something that we love about, in particular Judaism. You have to know that the purpose of this film is to make money, not to be accurate, not to be precise. If you want the precise details, if you want to know what really happened in Parshat Vaeira, sit down with the Chumash, sit down with Rashi, sit down with Midrash, but don't rely on Hollywood to tell you the truth. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.